pressed. So in this new section, we will start to get the player or the spaceship to shoot bullets or missiles. So let's get started. So the first thing that we will do is to create the bullet. So again, we're going to proceed as we have done before. We're going to go to create, then sprites, and then we're going to create a circle basically. Okay, and again we could call it maybe bullet. All right, so again it's extremely simple. Okay, so once this is done, we can actually drag and drop this bullet to the the scene view. So again, make sure that you drag it and drop it to the scene view. So again, take this bullet, drag it to the scene view. And you can see that it's a bit big right now. So again, we're gonna put 0.1 here, so rescale it on all different axes. Okay, so that's done. So again, this bullet is a little bit better. We can focus on it if you want by pressing Shift and F. Okay, and then we can actually proceed to the rest. So the next thing we'll do for this particular object is to add what is called a rigid body. So again, you go to rigid body here, rigid body 2D, and we will set the gravity to 0, and I will explain why. If you leave it this way, it will be subject to gravity, which means that basically it will actually start to fall down. So again, the idea here is that for this object not to fall down straight away. So again, it's going to be 0. All right. The next thing we will do is we have created the bullet right now, so we've got most of what we need for this bullet. We will actually start to create a prefab from it. So again, you can take this object and drag and drop it to the project window. By doing that, you create a prefab, as you can see, with the exact same property as your object, but again, you'll be able to instantiate it later on, which is a nice property. So again, we've got this object, we've got the bullet. So again, if you want, you can actually deactivate this bullet for now, that's okay. And now we just need to create a script that will actually make it possible to be instantiating this bullet. So again, we will go back to our script. And in this script, what we just need to do is to create a brand new variable. And this variable will be used to instantiate the bullet. So again, we're going to make it public because we want to access it in the inspector window. And again, the type will be GameObject and the name will be bullet. It doesn't have to be the exact same name as the prefab, but for now, I just call it bullet, sorry. So once this is done, I just need to make sure that I'm pressing the right key to be able to fire a bullet, and this key will be a space. Okay, so again, it's the exact same technique to be able to actually detect whenever a key has been pressed. I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, that's it. So again, that's perfect. I'm just going to need to close my conditional statement, which is done now. And now in this case, what I want to do is to create a new object. So again, the type will be GameObject. The name will be B, but we can call it anything that you want. And again, it will be equals. So again, what I will do is use this before I even create my object, and it is called casting, which means that whatever is on the right hand side will be casted or converted to a type of GameObject. Okay, and again within these parentheses or round brackets, again I'm going to say instantiate, and then instantiate what, so I'm going to see the bullet. Now at what position? It's going to be the same position as the player, so transform the position. Okay, but I want this bullet to appear just slightly above the player. So again, I'm going to use vector. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular transform. Okay, but in this case, I'm going to be up multiplied by 1.5. So again, it's going to be slightly above the player. And then since we are not modifying the actual rotation, it's going to be quaternion dot identity. Okay, so we should be pretty much okay there. So we have created our object. Now we have a small issue there. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not sure what this is, but let's move on and see what happens after. So again, our object has been created. Oh yes, I'm missing a parenthesis. There you go. Okay, so again, those things will happen. It could be something else, so we'll see. And again, what I need to do is to start to add a force to this object. So again, I'm going to take this object, get his component. So again, if you remember well here, the idea is to get the rigid body component, the rigid body 2D component. this will be a bullet, right? And the bullet will be the prefab. So again, you know that the prefab has a rigid body 2D component, so we can access it. And from this particular component, we're going to add a force. And again, this force will be upward. So again, transform dot up, and you can multiply it by a number later on. This number obviously will depend on the weight of your object, but 1000 seems to work well with it. Now you can see that game object is in red. I'm not sure why this is. I'm going to save this, and again I will just check the console window there, and Unity will tell me exactly what the issue is. Okay, so again, game of yes, okay, so I forgot a B, that's fine, and now we're okay, perfect. So again, I'm going to save that, go back to Unity. Now I have a few errors here. The first one is because I'm missing the F here, so again, you can see that Unity is pretty picky on that. Okay, and now we should be pretty much okay to go. All right, so again, this is done. Now what you can do is to look at your player here, and you should see that now, because our script has been compiled, you have an empty field called bullet here. So you can either take the bullet here and put it there, or so you can basically drag and drop your bullet right here if you want to. Okay, or just to show you a different way to do it, you can click here and press bullet. So again, it will look for different prefabs. Okay, and that's done. So we should be pretty much okay at this stage. If you actually play the scene, so using the P, Control P or Apple P, now you should be able to fire bullet, which is pretty good. Okay, so again, this is working relatively well.